Hello all, we are in the middle of broadcasting and streaming technique session. This is Dr. Sekimuthu. We are discussing about transmitting digital television signal by satellite DVB-S and S2. In that we are going to see about influences affecting the satellite transmission link. Let's talk about the influences affecting the satellite transmission link. I'm going to deal with the influences to be expected on the satellite transmission link. You look at figure number 22. Look at figure number 22. It will be seen that these influences are mainly restricted to noise. However, let's first begin with the modulator. This can be assumed to be ideal up to the IQ modulator. The IQ modulator can exhibit different gains in the I and Q branches, a phase error in the 90-degree phase shifter, and the lack of carrier suppression. There can also be noise effects and phase jitter coming from this circuit section. These problems can be ignored actually. However, because of the rugged nature of the QPSK modulation and will normally never reach an order of magnitude which will noticeably affect the signal quality. In the satellite, the traveling wave tube is there, right? That generates severe non-linearities. But these do not play a part in practice. In the region of uplink and the downlink, however, where the DVB-S signal is attenuated severely by more than 200 dB due to the distance of 36,000 km each way traveled by the signal. Strong noise effects are experienced actually during the distance. It is these noise effects, the additive white Gaussian noise AWGN, becoming superimposed on the signal, which form the only influence to be discussed now. The satellite downlink will be analyzed by way of an example with respect to signal attenuation and the resultant noise effects. The minimum carrier by noise, C by N, the minimum carrier by noise ratio necessary and the channel bit error rate needed are known and predetermined. These are predetermined from forward error correction, FEC, Reed-Solomon and the convolutional coding. Just look at figure number 23. To gain an idea about the C by N to be expected. Now the levels on the satellite downlink will be now considered. A geostationary satellite is parked in an orbit of 35,800 km above the equator. This is the only orbit in which it can travel around the Earth synchronously. At 45-degree latitude, the distance from the Earth's surface is then d is equal to Earth's radius into sine 45 degree plus 35,800 km. That is equal to 6378 km into sine 45 plus 35,800 km is equal to 37,938 km. So you take Astra satellite 1F, the transmitted power will be, assumed transponder output power is 82 watt, that is 19 dB watt. And gain of the transmitting antenna will be 33 dB watt. Put together, satellite equivalent isotropic radiated power will be 52 dB watt. Then it is transmitted. Free space attenuation is 205.7 dB. It is split into satellite Earth distance. That will take 91.6 dB, and transmitting frequency that itself will affect 21.7 dB, and the constant loss is 92.4 dB. So put together it is 205.7 dB. Then receiver side, received power, satellite EIRP, it is 52 dB watt. Free space attenuation 205.7, which we know that. Clear sky attenuation is 0.3 dB. Receiver directional error is 0.5 dB. Polarization error is 0.2 dB. So received power at the antenna is 154.7 dB watt. Antenna gain is 37 dB. And the received power is again negative then. It becomes 117.7 dB watt. So noise power at the receiver, if you look at that, noise power will be minus 128.5 dB watt. So carrier to noise ratio, how do we calculate? So received power C is minus 117.7 dB watt. Noise power is minus 128.5 dB watt. So if you find the ratio, C by N is 10.8 dB. So thus, C by N is about 10 dB can be expected in this example. Actual C by N values can be expected between 9 to 12 dB. So I'll give you an equation. This forms the basis of for the C by N calculation. That is free space attenuation L dB is 92.4 plus 20 log frequency in gigahertz plus 20 log D kilometer. That's a L, free space attenuation. F is a transmission frequency in gigahertz. D is a transmitter receiver distance in kilometer. That is L. G, antenna gain is calculated. Antenna gain of a parabolic antenna is 20 plus 20 log D plus 20 log F. D is a distance, antenna diameter in meter, and F is a transmission frequency in gigahertz. Noise power at that receiver input, N, it's a dB watt. It is minus 228.6 is a constant, plus 10 log B, plus 10 log T temperature, plus 273, it is converted into Kelvin, plus F. What is B? B is a bandwidth in hertz. T is a temperature in centigrade. F is a noise figure of the receiver. Look at figure number 23. 23 shows the minimum C by N ratio as a function of the code rate used. In addition, the pre-Viterbi, post-Viterbi, pre-Reed-Solomon and post-Reed-Solomon bit error rates are plotted. A frequently used code rate is 3 by 4. With the minimum C by N ratio of 6.8 dB, this results in a pre-Viterbi channel bit error rate is 3 power minus 2. The post-Viterbi bit error rate is then 2 power minus 4, which corresponds to the limit at which the subsequent Reed-Solomon decoder still delivers an output bit error rate of 1 power minus 11 or better. This approximately corresponds to 1 error per day, and this is defined as quasi-error free, QEF. See, at the same time, these conditions also almost correspond to the fall of the cliff or brick wall effect. Slightly more noise and the transmission breaks down abruptly. In the calculated example of the C by N to be expected on the satellite transmission link, there is therefore still a margin of about 3 dB available with a code rate of 3 by 4. The precise relationship between the channel bit error rate, that is pre-Viterbi bit error rate, and the C by N ratio is shown in figure number 24. Okay? Next session we will discuss about DVB-S2.